Take a look at replacing your source numbers within your paper with what should actually be in an in-text citation in an MLA research paper. So if you take a look at the paper here in front of me, it's a sample paper from a student. I've changed the name so you guys can't tell who it is. And you can see how at the end of these sentences she has her source numbers just like you're supposed to. We've got 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. There's one that's already been changed out. 2, 3. So she's already done some changing. I'm going to show you how to do it, though, using her paper as an example. So the first thing we're going to do is cruise down to the Works Cited page. Obviously, she has a lot of sources in her Works Cited page, but the important thing that you need to know is if there is an author, you are going to use the first word of the entry here for what goes in your parentheses to replace your number. So you can see that there's an author's last name that we can easily replace with. So let's start with doing that. I know that her source 1 was Geyer, because I asked her, so she told me. So her source 1 was Geyer. So all of her 1s in her paper, if we go back up here to the top, need to be replaced with that guy's last name because he was the source for that sentence. So I'm going to go up to Edit, Find, and Replace. And I'm going to tell it to replace all of the number 1s in parentheses. Make sure you put the parentheses, otherwise it's going to change the ones within dates. All the ones in parentheses with Geyer. In parentheses. This is very important. You got to make sure you put it in parentheses here. And then you just click Replace All. And throughout her whole paper, it just replaced all of the 1s with his last name. It happens like that. It's super fast. So that's how you replace them. Let's go do source 2. Now if I come to her Works Cited page, I asked her which one was source 2, and she said it was this book right here by Annette Mertens. So Mertens is what I want to put in my parentheses for source 2. So I'm going to go to Edit, Find, and Replace. And I want it to find all of the 2s in the paper in parentheses, not just 2s, 2s in parentheses, and replace it with Mertens in parentheses. And then I click Replace All. And just like that, all of the 2s within her paper were changed to Mertens. Now for this source 3, we have something a little bit different. Her source 3 was this article right here called Nazi Treatment of the Disabled. We don't have an author for that one. It came from an internet source. So she is going to need to use the first word or 2 from her Works Cited entry. The whole point is for them to be able to find where on this Works Cited page that information came from. So I'm going to use the words Nazi treatment, the first 2 words. I wouldn't use more than the first 3. But you can, a lot of times you can use the first 1 word. You just want them to be able to find it on here. We could technically just use the word Nazi, but I think Nazi treatment would be better. Notice it's in quotes on your Works Cited page, so it needs to be in quotes in your in-text citation. So I'm going to Edit, Copy, and then I'm going to go to Find and Replace, and I'm going to tell it to replace all of the 3s in parentheses, and then I'm going to paste in that little what I chose. And since it was in quotes on my Works Cited page, it goes in quotes within my in-text citation. So now I'm replacing all of the 3s in my paper that are in parentheses with the words Nazi treatment in quotes inside parentheses. And then I click Replace All. And you'll notice if we scroll back up to where that one was, there it is right there. So you can look at these in-text citations and see that this was somebody's last name because it's not in quotes. Last name, last name, last name. Oh, that's the name of an article. Last name. So that is how we replace our numbers within our paper to the actual information that goes on the Works Cited page. This will not take you a lot of time. The important part is figuring out what you're going to use to replace the number, and it needs to be just the first word or 2 from the beginning of the entry in the Works Cited page. If it's an author, you just use the last name. Good luck!